Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Gargoyles episode reviews. Today we're looking at protection. Tony Dracon is the top dog in NYC's organized crime scene. His protection rackets are second to none, and nobody muscles in on his territory. Until now. Word on the street is there's a crooked cop who wants a piece of the action. Who is this dirty cop? None other than Detective Elisa Maza. Besides threatening innocent bar owners, she is also neglecting her relationship with Goliath. The clan senses a disturbance in the force. Dracon's about to find out what real strong-arming is, courtesy of Goliath and Broadway. Last week's ep was nicely creepy. That was Upgrade, so you can go watch it or listen to it or read it. Spoilers here are in the 2020 moments. Info from Ask Greg isn't according to Greg Bits. Season 2, Episode 18, Protection. Reasons for existence. To explore the theme of protection, not that kind of protection. To show Elisa's skills as a cop. To show Broadway's detective skills. To prove Goliath can be cunning. And to continue Dracon's story. Main antagonist, Tony Dracon and company. And I am really sad that there is no Xanatos, Owen, Fox, or Puck in this. Or Macbeth. I know. We've been spoiled and we've had a lot of those characters in the last few episodes, but there can literally not be too much of those characters. Well, time's December 19th, 1995, so just before Christmas. And yet, there's no snow and there is nothing in the way of Christmas decorations here. Locations, New York City, New York. Like, Christmas, they don't have a Christmas episode. That is so strange to me. Every other show has the Christmas episode. Is that just not a holiday in this universe? Alright, so here's our title screen of Protection, and his establishing shot is on a restaurant that says Art and Lois. I hate mob / mafia / organized crime plots. I didn't watch The Sopranos. I didn't see any of The Godfathers. You know, the only show that I've seen do a pretty good job with that organized crime, I mean, other than Breaking Bad, but that's different, is the Batman the Animated Series, you know, with Rupert Thorne. They actually did a pretty good job fleshing him out and going deeper in his character. His family member, his brother was a doctor, I believe. But that storyline I could tolerate, but this one, no. An offer you can't refuse. At Art and Lois's restaurant, the owners are closing up shop. Lois says they should pay the protection fee. Art says they don't need no stinking protection. They find a briefcase, but figure someone will come for it tomorrow. They leave. Unattended luggage? Uh-oh. Unsurprisingly, the case was a bomb. It's a dramatic start to the ep. I guess Sal, Sal's Food is the store right next to them, paid up. Elsewhere in the city, Dracon gives Glasses a lift. The lieutenant says the explosion would send a message. He also says there's a crooked cop who's trying to muscle in on Dracon's protection turf. Well, they need to send him a message. Ah, but wait, it's a she, not a he. Okay, speaking of waiting, wait now, how are Dracon and company out of prison so soon? They served less time than Xanatos and Fox, but unlike them, he committed some heavy crimes, like, I don't know, kidnapping cops and attempted murder. It's the power of the mob, I guess. At the clock tower, Goliath and Broadway are watching Travis Marshall on the news. He's interviewing Art and Lois, who refuse to talk about what happened. Travis reports that the witnesses are afraid, showing the protection racket is the elephant in the room. His hair looks a lot darker in this scene than we've seen him before. And is he having like a midlife crisis, going to diet? When Broadway explains that what a protection racket is, Goliath goes off. This is protection? He wants to know why Elisa hasn't done something about it. That's interesting. Normally Goliath is saying he should be out taking care of business. Now it's suddenly Elisa's job to stamp out every criminal activity in the city. Dracon is a big-time crime boss. You mess with him and you'll be feeding the fishes from the wrong side of the water. Speaking of the detective, the Gargs haven't seen her in days. Odd. The setup. Matt and the gangster Joey, one of Dracon's crew, walk into the station. Chavez accosts them, asking about Elisa. Matt hasn't seen her. Ah, behold, the cocky classic gangster. He's even got a purple tie on a black undershirt. Matt goes to interrogate the Hood about his involvement with the explosion. Joy suggests he ask, quote, a cop on the take about it. But before he can get too far, Elisa busts in and kicks him out. Kicks Matt out, that is. Are you suddenly on the case, Elisa? And let me ask again, what exactly is her division? Homicide, vice, violent crimes? She says she has questions that Matt, Mr. Clean, she calls him, doesn't want to hear. What? Matt looks as confused as I feel. Elisa tells Joey to deliver a message to Dracon. His territory is my territory. Oh, tables turned. That means she's running her own protection scheme. And her face looks weird in that drawing there. Like her neck and the shadows just doesn't look right. Chavez calls her out and upbraids her. There have been reports that she's a dirty cop. The Cap takes her badge and gun. Elisa leaves in a huff. The classic D-badge scene in all cop movies. Joey hears all this. Well, this looks suspicious. At the clock tower, Goliath and Broadway watch her go. They sense something is amiss. They're perceptive like that. Joey reports to Dracon that the crooked cop is Elisa. Rescuers up and over. Rather than down under. Get it? In a seedy bar and pool hall where Elisa is apparently the only customer, she demands protection money from the bartender. He has just called Dracon, though, and Tony has him stalling her. She threatens to call the inspectors to shut the place down. As a cop, she should probably do that anyway. His joint is called Dave's Ball and Stick. Yes, that is the actual name. She'd actually make a pretty good antagonist, and honestly, I could appreciate her annoying personality then. Maybe. At least it would be more justified. Here she's got a black jacket on with a blue low-cut top. Well, the barkeep agrees to pay up. Glasses walks in right about then. He orders her into the car outside. She gets in with him. How risky can you get, Elisa? You're climbing inside with a car with gangsters. He's a known kidnapper, too. Goliath and Broadway are following. They assume the worst and promptly wreck the car and pull the thugs out. Elisa tells them to back off and stop following her like, quote, puppies. The Gargs are mystified. The gangsters are impressed. And he's got glasses up with one hand, holding him above his head. Drop the gangster, boy. Who's a good gargoyle? You are. So away she goes with her new friends, leaving Goliath and Broadway in the street. Goliath thinks it's a magic spell. You know, because Dracon uses magic all the time. Yeah, Goliath. Broadway, who's more street smart, thanks to film noir movies from the 1940s, figures she's undercover. Lawyers, guns, and money, and props to you if you get the song reference. At Dracon's pad, Tony is trying to be smooth and charming. Good luck. He just comes off as sleazy and lame, as well as dated. He calls her sugar. Seriously? She doesn't appreciate that either. He's got his hand around her waist there. This is one of my problems with Dracon. He tries too hard to be the cool villain. He's like the total dork in high school who believed, despite all evidence to the contrary, that he just had to try to imitate the guys in the movies, and he'd have all kinds of friends and girls. He understandably is pissed about her cutting into his territory. Elisa comments that he's a slick player since he's free so soon after kidnapping 2 cops. Again, this is what I said up above. Yeah, my thoughts. Power, money, and good lawyers, she asked. Okay, I get it that he has those, but if Xanatos, the richest man in the world, can't avoid jail time for accepting stolen goods of all the ridiculous things, and yeah, I know it was a plea deal, but you can buy people off, okay? You just can. And if Fox, his girlfriend, can't avoid prison time for taking a hostage in front of a monster, and that hostage could have been paid off as well, and I don't know why that photographer didn't have any pictures of Goliath, I don't see how Tony Dracon was able to get off so easily. Seems a bit convenient, aka contrived. And there's Elisa kind of getting in Dracon's face. Dracon is also a horrible judge of character, unlike, say, Xanatos. Though, okay, Xantos kind of misjudged on the whole Demona, but I think he was blinded a bit by how much of an advantage she might possibly provide him if she didn't stab him in the back or turn everybody to stone. In another part of town, Mr. Jaffe, the storekeeper who gets robbed by everything from thugs to werefoxes, remember, is starting a sting with Matt. Matt is pretending to be a store clerk. Matt's been coming into the store since he was a little boy. Jaffe doesn't miss the opportunity to point out that Matt's always been, quote, tilting at windmills. You know what, buddy? Protect your own store, then. Well, this clears up what I was wondering. Is Elisa doing this on her own? Nope, she's got the force behind her. Halftime. I don't know if we the viewers are supposed to fall for Elisa being a crooked cop, or if we're supposed to suspect she's setting up a sting. The only thing I was wondering about was if she did this with or without police backup, and there we have the answer up above. Tony Dracon and company are their usual selves. Dracon is one of the most 2D antagonists of the series, unfortunately. He's got some nice family history with Dominic Dracon and his partnership with Mace Malone, yes, but he himself is not compelling. He tries too hard, pushing the cockiness way past the Xanatos level of charismatic snark and into being insufferable. And he's too sane to be really surprising in his plans. He's a gangster, that's it. And like I say, he's not even as fleshed out as Rupert Thorne. Thus far, he hasn't initiated any plans against the Gargoyles, which I guess is one of the big problems I have with him as an antagonist. If the protags butt in to stop an antag plot, that just lacks punch after a while, and you see it over and over. If, however, the antag initiates the game, like Demona, Macbeth, and Xantos do, that's a whole new ballgame. You can have real fun with those plots. I mean, look at Batman. Which is more fun? When Batman swoops in and stops Joker from some random thing, or when Joker actually targets Batman? Yeah, you know. Well, tune in next time for the conclusion, where we learn how Elisa and company trap Dracon and company. What do you mean that's not very compelling? Look, we all know they catch him. He's like the Joker of the series, in that he gets out of prison by the next episode. Well, remember to comment here or on the blog, and like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.